Hello, good day, viewers. In this class, we are going to be talking about how to report your titration results in Waec and NECO practical chemistry exams. Waec exams is around the corner, and all of us are preparing for it. Many candidates are already preparing, rounding up for their Waec exams. And at this point, it is important that you learn how to properly report your titration results during these exams. When you do your titration, how do you report it? There are ways that you report it. It will be unclear and you begin to lose mark. But there are other ways that when you report it, everything would be clear and the examiner will be able to award you your full mark in your practical works. So if you are going to write your Waec, if you have not written your Waec, or you got to write your Waec or NECO practical chemistry examination this year, then this video is for you. Stay tuned as I take you through the proper way to report your titration results during chemistry practical examination. So let's get started. So when you're writing the chemistry practical exams and you are doing your titration, the first thing to do, or the best way to report your titration result, is first to draw a table. And you draw the table this way. You draw the table this way, then you demarcate it into like 4 different places. First one, then second one, then third, and then fourth. Let me use this one as fourth one. Then under this side, you will write your burette readings. Your burette reading. Then you demarcate it this way. So after the burette reading, at this other point, you will write your rough. Then you write the unit of the volumes of the instrument you're using. So in this case, you're dealing with volumes and you're using centimeter cube. So you write your rough, then you write it in centimeter cube. In fact, to be on the safer side, to make sure you do not forget your units, you can even write your burette readings in centimeter cube. Then after your rough, then you have your first titer value. Okay, so you can write it first titer, or you may just write it first and then write in centimeter cube. The units are very important because once you miss your unit, then you begin to lose your mark. Then the second titration, also in centimeter cube. Then the third one, third titer value, also in centimeter cube. Don't miss it. So the reason why you write you write the unit here is so that anything you write under this place will be under this unit, and you will not make the mistake of not including your unit while you're reporting. So after the rough, in this other side, in the columns, this place, the first side, you write it, your final volume. Okay, so you write it final. Then In this second side, you write your initial volume. So you can write it your initial volume. There's final volume used. Final volume, initial volume of acid used. Then on the third column, you write volume of acid used. Volume of acid used. Okay, so in the rough, let's first of all, it is advisable that after every titration you fill up your burette afresh so that every of them will be 0, 0, 0, 0, so you will not make mistake. But in a case where you don't have enough acids, then whatever is the volume before you start titrating, you have to write it here. But I would prefer you always fill up your burettes so that the volume will always start with 0, 0. So the volume you're starting with is what you write on this column, and you have to write it first. Okay, so I'll write everything here as 0.00. Whatever you're writing here in these columns, make sure that it is in 2 decimal places, and your values the decimal places must be consistent in everything you're writing. It's not after writing 2 decimal places then you now start writing 1 decimal place. No, all of them must be consistent. If you're writing 2, you write 2 throughout. If you're using 3 decimal places, you use 3 throughout. But this way it is advisable, just use 2 decimal places. So here 0.00, then 0.00, then 0.00. This unit here have covered all of them. Okay, so let's say after titrating for the first one, you got 20.2. Then you all just need to know to find your volume of acid you use is to minus the initial from the final volume. So since you made sure that the initials are 0.000, so then your final volume will still be the volume of acid used. Okay, so in this case we just have it this way, this to be 20.20. Okay, then let's say in the first iteration, okay, you got maybe 20.00, then your final will be 20 minus 0.00, so you still get 20.00. And let's say when you're doing the second titration, you had 20.10, then the volume of acid you use will now be 20.10 minus 0.00, and then you will have 20.10. Let's say after doing the second titration, you want to do the third one, and then you don't have enough acid again, so you need to start from the one you have. Okay, then the initial may not be 0.00 again. Let's say you started the burette reading from, maybe initial now becomes 10.00. Okay, and then after titrating, when you reach your endpoint, you now notice that the reading will now be 30.01. So what do you do to obtain your volume of acid used? You just say 30.01 minus 10.00, and that would give you 20.0. I mean, you cannot give you 0.01, let's say 10, I mean. So maybe 20.10, something like that. Okay, so this now becomes your volume of acid used. So with this, you can see that the report is very, very clear. Okay, the report is very, very clear, and the units are well written. So from this table, all your reports are written clearly. So all the mark allotted to this table and allotted to your reporting would be given to you because it is clear and well reported with the whole unit in place. Then one thing you must not forget is writing the volume of the pipette you use. So you come at the top and write volume of pipettes used. Usually it is either 20 centimeter cube or 25 centimeter cube. So let's use 25 centimeter cube. 25 centimeter. But you don't just write it 25 centimeter. Rather you write it 25.00 centimeter cube. Okay? So this way it will be very clear. So the next thing we'll now do is to write your average titer value. And that is what you're going to use for your calculation, your average titer value. So how do you get your average titer value? You get it by adding any of these, either 3 or 2 of these volume of acid used, and then taking the mean, that is dividing it by the number, how many they are. Let's say we add the 3 together. Let's say we add these 3 together, okay? And then we just have it that volume of acid used, or we just say average titer value, average titer value will now be equal to 20.00 plus 20.10 plus 20.10. Then when you add it together, then divide it by 3. Okay, so when you do this, then you're now going to, that will now be equal to 60.20. Then you divide it by 3. Then that will now give equal to 20.0666. So we can just write it as 20.07. Okay, and then we write our unit to be in centimeter cube. So this is how you can report accurately your results during a titration when you're writing your Waec or your NECO chemistry practical examination. Thank you for watching this video. If you're new to this channel, please do subscribe and share the video. So I will see you in our next video. Thank you.